Welcome along to manxradio.com and another MiTunes podcast.
Marc Tyley, the nation station, Manx Radio.
If I told you I had a musical Cleator on the show this week for MiTunes, you might wonder which one. Because to say there are a few Cleators in the music business in this here Isle of Man is an understatement. But according to the one I've got in front of me, that is John Cleator, they're not related as far as you know. John Cleator, welcome to MiTunes.
Hello, Mark.
It's good to have you here. So all these various people we hear and know, you don't think you're related much?
Well, I'm sure it's the Isle of Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all called Cleator, but there's certainly no sort of immediate relations there.
Okay.
So we must have split off a good long time ago.
It's amazing, though, how many musical Cleators there are.
There must be some kind of musical remnant of DNA that sort of pops up every now and then that binds us all together.
Well, it certainly works, and we're blessed to have you all here. But we're talking to John. Now, John, you may well have seen, if you go to any gigs across the Isle of Man over a year, you'll have seen him playing the drums, singing as well. Currently, I know a few of the band you're in, DCAC, Bad Reputation. You're also playing with, the lads in the Dirty Bertie, Shirty Bertie,
yeah.
but that lot, you know, them.
Yeah.
And there's more?
Yeah, I play with the Chris Winchester band.
Yeah.
Lost Dogs, which is the band that I sing in. We do a lot of Pearl Jam. There's a band called The Unforgettable Four where we do U2. Who have I forgotten?
There'll be somebody.
No,
They'll
there's
pop
always
up.
somebody.
You are in demand. Well, I'm not surprised because you are like a machine when you're on those drums. You're absolutely on it. And I think one of the nights I'll never forget is when I went down to see you in DCAC. And unbeknown to me, you were also drumming for the first band on, Bad Reputation.
Yeah.
So basically, you were on all night.
Yeah.
You must have lost a few pounds in weight on that one.
Yeah, I had to drink a lot of water to keep going through that. You just sort of get used to it. It's the Bad Reputation, the work at the start there is a lot harder than doing the DCAC, but the DCAC is relentless.
And it's a
You're just
long
pumping
old
along.
show.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
By the time the money's falling out of the ceiling, you must have, I reckon you lost a few pounds in weight. When did you first start playing the drums, John?
I first started playing when I was 11 at the behest of my school music teacher, Miss Osborne. And
Which school was that?
that was at the Grammar.
Okay.
Yeah, and she sent me up to Manx Youth Orchestra. I believe it was her father, Ernie McCowan, who gave me my first strokes into drumming. He was a proper old big band drummer. Wasn't really into the music that I was in, but he got me sort of moving along that sort of path. And although the orchestral stuff wasn't my kind of scene, it probably started a bug inside me.
Interesting that it was completely different, but the fire was really starting to go.
Yeah.
Were you a kid who was always bashing their knees and drumming on the tables? Were you drumming along to stuff?
Not really. No, not really. I was always into music, always loved music. From, I think, the first bands that I was in were the ones I picked up from my sister's sort of collections, which was sort of Duran Duran and Adam and the Ants and stuff like that. So I was young at that time, but I was properly into that music and had a little record player and played the 45s and play the albums. And so it was in the blood.
I still absolutely adore playing vinyl and looking back. I know you can just whistle them up on any device you like, but there's something about putting them back on the turntable.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a sort of ceremony about it, isn't there? And it's the sort of thing they give it a clean off, pop it down, just lower the arm down.
I'm going to borrow that from you, John. A ceremony. It is definitely a shrine and a ceremony. Now then, we're going to Madison Square Garden for your first choice of music. Tell me all about this one.
It's a bit of Bruce Springsteen, the boss. I saw him last year in Copenhagen. Fantastic show. Met some great people while I was there. And I think it's a song of redemption, really, and it's just got such power to it.
And it is called
Atlantic City.
chicken man in Philly last night. Now they blew up his house too. Down on the boardwalk, they're getting ready for a hell of a fight. Gonna see what those racket boys could do. Now there's trouble busting in from out of state, and the DA can't get no relief. Gonna be a rumble out on the promenade, and the gambling commission's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Everything dies, maybe that's a fact, but maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair up pretty, and meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Job and tried to put my money away, but I got debts that no honest man could pay. So I drew what I had from the Central Trust, and I bought us 2 tickets on that Coast City bus. Everything dies, maybe that's a fact, but maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair pretty, and meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Well, now what may have died and our love may be cold, but with you forever I'll stay. Yeah, going out where the sand's turning to gold. So put on your stockings, babe, 'cause the nights get cold. Maybe everything dies, maybe that's a fact, but maybe everything that dies someday comes back. There may be something. Now I've been looking for a job, but it's hard to find. It's down here, there's just winners and losers, and no one get caught on the wrong side of that line. But I'm tired of coming out on the losing end. So honey, last night I met this guy. I'll do a little favor for him. Everything dies, maybe that's the fact. Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Put your makeup on, fix your hair pretty. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Meet me tonight in Atlantic City. Come on and meet me. Come on and meet me. Come on. Come on and meet me. Yeah, now. Come on and meet me. Yeah.
It's MiTunes, and we've got a drummer who can sing, and I'm going to find out if there's other bits and pieces they can do as well. His name is John Cleator. He's in an awful lot of bands. Listen to yesterday's edition when the podcast comes out, and you'll find out just how many. So, John, yesterday we talked about a few things, but I didn't manage to talk to you about other instruments. Do you play other things?
I dabble in other instruments. I've been trying to play the guitar for a number of years, but I'm certainly not good enough to go out and put myself in front of a crowd and do it. I sing.
Yeah, I know.
Enjoy singing.
Yeah, you're a great singer.
And to do that and to drum, if I picked up another instrument, there'd be another load of bands I'd have to be in. I just haven't got the time.
It's an honest answer. Now, guitarists, he said, knowing full well what was coming, like to collect instruments. Most of us do, and probably got too many. Dare I say it. What about drummers? Do you have a few drum kits? Is it something that, or do you just build on essentially the one?
No, I've got two sort of main drum kits. There's a few other bits and pieces, lots of percussion and stuff as well. So I have my big Sonic kit, which is a big German beast of a kit, which is the one that sort of pops out with me with DCAC and does the Villa shows and stuff like that. And I have a little handmade kit by a man called Fraser Murray up in Scotland. That's just a much smaller kit, but it sounds amazing. And that's the one I use in the pubs.
I was going to say, because so you can scale that down. That is scaled down for pub
that's
work.
A lot smaller. Yeah.
And different sounds?
Not massively. I have a sort of range of snare drums which can give me different sounds. I generally I've sort of over the years have come across a collection of cymbals that I use and can use with most things now, but there's lots of effects and things that I can put in if I need to.
A lot of people have been on this show and on this MiTunes malarkey, and they say, oh, of course, our drummer, John Cleator, he's also a very good singer. We'd be lost without him. Now, this is not just one or two. Loads of people have said that how important you are on the vocals as well as the drums in terms of backing singers, not when you're fronting the other band. But how difficult is it to keep that incredibly tight rhythm and then sing across it at the same time?
A lot of the time, and I've sort of done this for years, it's the sort of way I learn that I don't sort of sit behind the kit a lot of the time, especially nowadays. I don't get the time to do it. So I learn by driving around, singing it, learning the song in my head. So singing it gives me a lot of the prompts that I'm doing for when I'm drumming. And sort of when I'm sort of out doing a show, I'm still playing along to that tune in my head. So singing along, I'm just moving my arms. It's just another thing that happens while I'm doing it. So.
Now, just to talk a bit technical for a moment, you obviously need to hear exactly what's going on. So are you wearing any in-ear monitoring, headphoney things, or have you got a big speaker next to you?
Big speaker usually. I do have in-ear monitors, but I find a bit of disconnection from it. So I like to be sat in the actual waves of sound that I'm sort of creating, really, rather than be isolated
then
from
you
it.
can hear what you're supposed to be adding to and delivering.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think it's amazing. Now, I wasn't expecting this. We're going to have some Elton John. Talk me through your second choice.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Elton's just been around forever. I saw him a couple of years ago at Anfield with my friend Paul Tonks, who's also a big muso over here. And Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is the song that I sing to my daughter every night as a little lullaby. So it has a place very close to my heart.
Sign up for you.
yesterday on MiTunes, the choice of my guest, John Cleator, was a bit of Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Elton John had a, live drummer for many, many years, Nigel Olsson, who again was such a key part of that band, wasn't he?
He still is. Well, he was doing it. They sort of had that band still on the last tour there, and he's just phenomenal. And he must have been involved in the whole production for him to. You don't really hear of him from any other sort of sources, but he's always been there with Elton, and he's a phenomenal drummer, backing vocalist as well.
Yes, well, again, you've read my mind. There's another one who can sing and play at the same time. You're in good company.
That's it, yeah.
You're in very good company. Drumming generally, I'm going to say, put it out there, is less often more.
Absolutely. The job, as I see it, of the drummer is to form the basis of the band, the framework for everybody to play off. So if there's something very complicated going on that has to be done, and there's a lot going on for the rest of the band, I will hold back before I'll put any of those fancy bits in there. That's the framework for everything to sort of build upon. So that's my sort of way of doing it.
And your buddy on the bass guitar in any band, that has to be a crucial relationship.
It is, yeah. It's one of those that sort of you build. It sort of becomes a sort of symbiotic relationship. So you're not really sort of looking at each other, even you feel it. You sat in this same pocket, and you need to be working together all the time to make that work. So it's very important.
Aside from lead singers and when the guitarist's going off and doing a crazy solo, you get a lot of eyes on you as a drummer because you're interesting to watch. There's more going on with a drummer to watch than there is a lot of the other band members, especially keyboard players. No offence, keyboard players, but you normally just stand there with a bit of purple light and look nice. But you're busy.
Yeah. There's a lot of flailing around, isn't there? Yeah, sweat flying everywhere. It's. I think it's just it's a visual thing, isn't it? You see. With drums, I think more than anything else, you're actually hitting things with sticks. There's things moving and flying about, and the light is reflecting off cymbals and things like that. So it is a very sort of visual thing for the crowd.
I love watching a drummer. I love watching you play. Let's have, a band. Well, you talked me through the Foo Fighters because, drumming and legacy, etc. Tell me more.
Well, it's Dave Grohl, isn't it? When I was young, school, that's when Nirvana came out with Nevermind, and then on from that came the Foo Fighters. And Dave Grohl, although he was sort of pilloried at first as being quite basic with Nirvana, he's really sort of gone on and shown his chops and become one of the most respected drummers in the world. I think he played the drums on this one of my favourite tracks for the drums. It's My Hero.
So far this week on MiTunes, we've had Bruce Springsteen live in Madison Square Garden, Sir Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and the Foo Fighters yesterday. And it's all going to be on the podcast, by the way, that comes out 12:05 today. John Cleator, thank you for a cracking week so far, but we're not done yet. Now, you've got a gig coming up.
I have.
With the Bad Reputation Boys, who, if you don't know, dear listener, are the finest Thin Lizzy tribute band you're ever going to hear. Ever. There you are, I've said it.
Well, that's very high praise indeed. Thank you,
I
Mark.
mean, you must have loved that music to get involved with this.
Yeah, it's you grow up with it. Live and Dangerous to a drummer, to any musician who's into that kind of thing, is just one of the touchstones that you sort of go to. So, yeah, and there's a lot going on for a drummer as well. He's
Busy.
a very busy drummer.
But song by song, they're amazing pieces of music, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what amazed me when I was following Thin Lizzy, going through all their various incarnations. Goodness me, the strength of the catalogue of work.
It's tremendously varied. There's a lot. They go from the sort of heaviest heavy rock right down to very sort of almost sort of folky kind of music, and everything in between, taking in parts of soul, and there's a lot for everybody in there. It's one that's got a great back catalogue.
Drummers that you think are a bit special. Give us a selection of your favourites. When you're
drummers.
listening or looking at a band, you're thinking, that works well. Who have you got on your list?
Bonham, John Bonham, Keith Moon, Ginger Baker, Vinnie Colaiuta was Sting, some of the work that he's done there. Dave Grohl, Jim Keltner is one of my favourite drummers for the musicality that he's brought to so many sort of bands over the years. But there's hundreds and hundreds of drummers out there. There's I couldn't name them all.
It's quite funny though, because you've mentioned some amazing drummers, and they all have that certain awareness of space that we talked about right at the beginning. They know when not to lay it out there.
That's the thing, yeah. It's always leaving the space there for other people to play into, and if they don't, you can play into it as well. So it's it's more about the notes you don't play than filling every sort of beat.
Just write that down, more about the note you don't play. Fantastic, thank you, got that there. Plans for this year, what's happening in your world?
Well, we've got Bad Reputation coming up on the 2nd of March.
Lovely.
I've got a Dirty Birds concert on the 13th of April. We've got the new U2 band coming out very shortly at the start of May. Lost Dogs will be supporting the Nirvana tribute at the Villa Marina in May as well. And on the 6th of June, we've got the big one, DCAC at the Villa.
Fantastic. It is a TT essential, I would suggest.
It's just become a part of the DNA of the place, hasn't it? It's, yeah.
Do you know at the moment who's doing the opening act?
Not sure at the moment. That'll be a little surprise. There'll be a little Easter egg there for somebody to maybe find out.
I wonder if you'll be in the drum seat for both sets this time.
There's always that possibility.
Let's have your final track of the week, and loving this. Talk me through Father John Misty.
Right, well, Father John Misty is actually, he's another drummer. He was the drummer with the Fleet Foxes, bloomed in the 90s. He sort of went on from there and become a solo artist. He's written a large body of work. He's got a tremendous way with words and a tremendous handle on the world and a very laconic look and view on everything that goes on. And it just fills a lot of sort of spaces for me.
Well, can't wait for this. The track you've chosen?
Pure comedy.
And thank you for that. And John, thank you for a great week.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thanks for having me.
The comedy of man starts like this. Our brains are way too big for our mother's hips. And so nature, she devised this alternative. We emerge half-formed and hope whoever greets us on the other end is kind enough to fill us in. And babies, that's pretty much how it's been ever since. Now the miracle of birth leaves a few issues to address, like say that half of us are periodically iron deficient. So somebody's gotta go kill something while I look after the kids. I do it myself, but what? Are you gonna get this thing? It's milk. He says as soon as he gets back from the hunt, we can switch. It's hard not to fall in love with something so helpless. Ladies, I hope we don't end up regretting this. Comedy, now that's what I call pure comedy. Just wait until the part where they start to believe they're at the center of everything, and some all-powerful being endowed this horror show with meaning. Oh, their religions are the best. They worship themselves, yet they're totally obsessed with risen zombies, celestial virgins, magic tricks, these unbelievable outfits, and they get terribly upset when you question their sacred texts written by woman-hating epileptics. Their languages just serve to confuse them. Their confusion somehow makes them more sure. They build fortunes, poisoning their offspring, and hand out prizes when someone patents a cure. Where did they find these goons they elected to rule them? What makes these clowns they idolize so remarkable? These mammals are hell-bent on fashioning new gods, so they can go on being godless animals. For irony, their idea of being free is a prison of beliefs that they never ever have to leave. Oh, comedy. Oh, it's like something that a madman would conceive. The only thing that seems to make them feel alive is the struggle to survive, but the only thing that they request is something to numb the pain with, until there's nothing human left. Just random matter suspended in the dark. I hate to say it, but each other's all we've got.
Father John Misty and pure comedy. You know, I love doing this program. I love doing this feature because I get introduced to all sorts of musicians, artists I've never heard of before, and he is one of them. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to seek more out from Father John Misty. Introduced to me by my MiTunes guest, the wonderful drummer John Cleator, fine singer as well. Thank you so much for dropping by. Don't forget, more podcasts coming along every single day here at manxradio.com, and join me whenever you can. You might enjoy some of it at Marc Tyley in the morning, 9:30 to 12, Monday to Friday.